All right, to continue with our discussion or with our lecture about the basics of marketing planning or marketing plan basics, let us look into the preparation of a marketing plan. So, preparing a marketing plan does not require a maximum or minimum amount of market research. Uh, Previously, some of you have asked how thorough or how can you conduct the market research. I always say it's up to you. If you want to take it seriously, then you can probably find different ways of doing your market research. If you really want to interview people or maybe observe the market or do the foot traffic, it's all up to you. Okay, but what we have to remember in connection to doing the market research is market research involves collecting, analyzing, and organizing information so that you can plan your actions. Remember that you would like to fill a gap. Remember that you would like to improve your business, or you would like to not just improve but to have a continuity or maybe to expand whatever your objective is, because sometimes the objective is expansion. So when we talk about expansion, then probably you are looking into the distribution or the place strategy. Or if, let's say, for example, you're looking into the diversification of products, then your focus will be product strategy. Okay? So it's important to do market research because market research will guide you to plan your actions. Like it will give you a focus where to start and what to look into. So, market research entails obtaining information from whatever sources are available to help you answer the following questions. So, remember that there are questions that you have to answer when you do your market research. Okay, so first is, what is your product or service? Okay, I think I have a content here. What is your product or service? What would you like to offer? Is what you would like to offer already in existence and that you would like to expand it and that you would like to enhance the value of your product or service? Okay, so this is something that you have to ask yourself. The more questions you have in mind, the more questions you throw to each other if you are a group, the better would it be. The second is, what market or markets do you serve? A while ago, I did mention university students as a target market. Now, when you focus on that, then we can say that's a single market. But let's say, for example, you would like to focus on a bigger market, like aside from the university students, you would like to look into young families. Okay, so you have to have that in mind so that you can concentrate or focus on what you would like to develop for them. Okay, the third is, what unique or special features distinguish your product or service from the others. This is what we consider the value. Okay, so if there are already existing businesses, the same business that you will set up, what do you think will be your advantage? What do you think will be the reason why why will consumers choose you over those competitors who are already stable in the market, who has already given a name for themselves? Okay, so what unique or special features? It can be just one, it can be a strategy with regards to pricing, it can be a strategy with regards to the distribution. So think about that. Okay, and then another question is, what is the best way to get your product or service into the hands of the targeted consumers? This is about the place or distribution. If your product, say for example, is coffee, okay, so how do you plan to serve that coffee? Will you be offering only a takeout counter, or will you be catering to people who would like to dine in and probably spend time sitting down in your cafe, or you don't want any physical store but instead you want a coffee delivery. Okay, so you have to make clear about that. And don't think that, oh, I might be crazy with my idea because it will be something new, it will be something different. No, don't think of it that way, because usually entrepreneurs are those people who are very creative, those who are willing to offer something different, those who are willing to take the risk of maybe introducing something, the innovation that you probably will be doing into an existing product is something that will add value to your product. Okay? And we have more questions like, who are your customers? You cannot say all people. You cannot generalize, because you have to have a certain group, or what we call in marketing segmentation. What particular segment of market you would like to serve. You can categorize them based on demographics or their location. Like, for example, you can say that you would like to focus only on people living in Gyeongsang Bokdo, or you can focus about their geographic. Okay, then demographic. Demographic segmentation can also be, you would say that people who are in this economic status, like middle class to upper class, are my target customers. Okay, or you can also look into the behavior of your particular market, like, are they frequent users, are they occasional users. There are so many segmentation strategies that you can adapt in choosing or in identifying who your customers are. And then another would be, how should you price your product or service? Should you price it individually? Should you give a bundle price, like you, because you want to have a big sale and so you don't want to price it by piece, and instead you want to price it in bulk, like what Emart Traders and Costco are doing? Or would you like it to be something that is affordable to your market in such a way that it's good for a solo serving or for a solo person? This is another trending. This is another trend happening now, that a lot of people don't want to get married, and most of the people who are young professional here in Korea would like to live solo. And so, if you will look around, you will see that there's a lot of appliances, home appliances, that are being, offered, or it was produced and offered to people who are living alone. So this is small, good for one serving. And even now, the cutleries that are sold usually as a set, like set of 4, set of 6, set of 8, is now sold individually. Okay, so then the bundle of the product would depend now on how you would like to price, or pricing your products and service would mean, if we look at the airline industry, especially the low cost carrier, would usually offer a very cheap airfare. Why? Because they give you just the basic airfare. Now, if you want leg space, you add to the basic pay. If you want to carry luggages, then you buy weight or yes, you buy baggage allowance. If you want to have meal, then buy extra. So will your pricing strategy be that way? Like, we call it individual, or we usually call it the a la carte pricing, or would it be bundle pricing? Okay, so that's the pricing. Now, it's not only about the price of the product, like competitive pricing, or will you be using pricing the basic product and then adding some markup? I don't know what you would like to use. It's a strategy, it's your choice. I will not be asking you, why have you chosen this one. What I will be doing as I guide you through the process would be to align and to throw you questions that will help you come up with a holistic with the complementary strategies for your product or for your service. And another question is, how should you promote or advertise your product or service? Will you be using social media? Will you be relying on flyers? Or will you be asking people to spread the good word, like a word of mouth advertising? Would you be combining all? Would you be, you know, leaving leaflets under the room? Will you be posting ads in, I would say, in an open space so that people can see? How will you advertise your product and service? And another or last question is, how is your target market changing or slightly to change? Remember, okay, I have to show it. Remember that there's nothing permanent in this world. So the whole business environment is very dynamic. It keeps on evolving, it keeps on changing. And when something happens in one environment, like right now, we are having a threat to our health, okay? Or it's something related to the social cultural or the social environment wherein people are not allowed to congregate or are not allowed to be together as a big group. And of course, that affects business, or probably that affects not just the business, but that affects can be your strategy for setting up or for laying your place. Like for example, the physical design of your restaurant should comply with the sanitary maybe or the legal requirements of the government in terms of physical distancing. And how long will that be? Or you have to have, like, the divider, the plastic ones that they usually place, like a sort of a transparent cubicle so that people will not contaminate each other. So until when you're going to use that? Because you are going to invest money to buy that in order for you to operate your business. And because if you don't comply with the government, then probably you will not be able to operate your business. So those things should be part of your strategy, because whatever happens in the business environment that affects you, maybe directly, sometimes indirectly, and that effect can sometimes be a threat to your business. What we want is an opportunity, right? But sometimes it doesn't come that way. Sometimes it becomes a threat, or it can also be something that strengthens your business, like the logistics before. It's not a very, I would say, attractive business, because logistics is something that is very challenging. You're pressed for time, and then you're blamed if you don't deliver your goods in time. However, nowadays it's, I think, a trending and the number one business that you can think about. Okay? So searching information can be obtained in a variety of ways besides hiring paid consultants. If you want to do shortcut, then hire a professional. They'll do all the job for you. If you can see in the internet, if you will try to browse websites, you will see that there are marketing data that are being sold, and those data has already been gathered or researched by companies doing market research. So that's a shortcut: hiring or paying some consultants. You can also search for information online, use social media to network, communicate with others in the industry. You can also visit small similar businesses. You can attend trade shows and conferences. You can join professional organizations. All possible means of acquiring the intelligence, okay, is available for you. So once you've gathered the sufficient information to answer the questions that I have given you, then you can follow the next step that I will share with you. And that is, of course, how to create a simple marketing plan. Okay, so over time, you can refine and elaborate on aspects of the marketing plan. as more resources become available and as your business expands. So you don't need to stick to a basic marketing plan that probably you have used in the initial opening of your business. The marketing plan revolves also. So it depend the marketing plan is dependent on what's happening to the environment and what is your goal towards your business. Okay, so you can elaborate it, you can expound it, you can change it. It has to be something that is doable, something that is flexible depending on the need of your business. It is also important to remember that your marketing plan, yeah, as I've said, it's not static. It's a living document that needs to be routinely checked for relevance. That's the word, relevance, and revised accordingly. So this marketing plan provides you with a basis to assess each new opportunity to see if it's in accordance with your overall goals and objectives and to make adjustments as needed. Okay? So remember that no static plan. It has to be something flexible. It has to be something that is redoable. Okay, so what are the steps for creating a simple marketing plan? What I will share with you are the simple marketing plan or the basic steps in doing the marketing plan. So, the first one is to state your marketing objectives. As I've said, your objectives can only be set once you have done your market research. So, perhaps you would like to increase awareness of the product or service you provide. That can be an objective, okay? Another objective can be to increase your sales and revenues by a certain percentage. Like as I've said, it has something to be quantifiable, like 20%, 30%, 50%, whatever percent you have in mind. Or that objective can be to increase the number of customers who purchase your products and services. Like by 2022, you would like to have an additional 20% of the market share. Or maybe not 20% of the market share, but you can qualify that maybe by 2022, aside from catering to young people, you would like to be catering to young families. Okay, so your objective could be, it could be in terms of numbers, like as I've said, percentages, or numerical value, like for example, in terms of sales or in terms of quantity of the product. Okay, so I'd like to give you some tips in relation to the setting of objectives. Number one is you have to be realistic about your marketing objectives. Make sure that they are specific and quantifiable so that you can measure your progress toward achieving them. It's hard to do something that is unmeasurable, and so for you to be properly guided, you have to have the objectives written, and it has to be something that you believe is achievable. Second, your marketing objectives can be expressed in terms of sales in whatever currency you want. Like, I don't know what's your currency in Uzbekistan, or if you are in Mexico, it can be peso. If you're here in Korea, it can be in won. Generally, some people would use dollars. You can also express your marketing objectives in terms of the sales units. Like you can say additional 20,000 units. You can also express it in terms of market share, like how big, like 10%, 10%. You can also quantify it in terms of the distribution levels or channels. Like for example, at first you just have the physical store, but because of what's happening at the moment, you decided to also sell online. Okay, or you can say that your objective can be in terms of awareness. If, let's say, for example, only Korean people know about your product. Maybe by 2022, you would like the whole of East Asia to know about your product. And third tip in relation to step one is try to limit the number of marketing objectives to less than four. Okay? Don't be so, how do I say it? Don't be so idealistic. Let's be realistic here by limiting the number of objectives to less than four. Two is ideal for most companies. Okay? Two is ideal for most companies. If you want to make it three, it's up to you. If you want to make it four, it's all up to you. I'm just giving you realistic things that you can apply as you do your market plan. Okay? So are you ready for step two? Step two is to identify demographics of your target market. What do we mean by demographics? Demographics is actually studying the what's this? The characteristics of your market, like for example, the age, the sex, the profession, the income level, the education level, whether you would like to cater to individual or you would like to cater to businesses. So it is important that you write a description of your target audience. Okay? And you just don't write again. As I emphasize, you have to do a market research. So how can you justify the demographics that you are targeting? The only way to do that would be to do your market research. So don't just bombard your marketing plan with cut and paste words from the internet. Okay? You can probably, submit that. But the thing is, are you true to yourself? Are you helping yourself learn? So I'm really sad to say, and you know to and I don't anticipate students to be doing shortcut in this market planning. Okay, I will be looking at your work one by one to see whether there is consistency with regards to your plan. So don't just dream of just getting. For now, I will try really to qualify whether what you have done is really something that is something that needs to be done. Okay, so going back to the demographics, once you have done so, focus only on those customers who are most likely to purchase your product or your service. Not the whole world is interested to buy from you. Not the whole world is looking at your service as something valuable. Okay, so in order for you not to waste any marketing investment, you have to make sure to identify your target market. So as your business and resources grow, you can focus on a wider segment of the overall market. Okay, what are the some tips here? A target market is a group of customers. They can be people, they can be organizations or firms for whom your marketing effort is intended. So your target choice will determine your production and marketing practices, and also the other way around. Your target market is not simply whoever is buying or will buy your products. Rather, it consists of individuals or businesses you identify as your most desirable customers. Okay? So remember that. Moving on to step three. Step three is to identify your competitions. Okay, so there are several ways to go about identifying your competition. One way is to identify other businesses that are offering somewhat similar products or services to the customers you are targeting and within your price range. Okay, we call them your direct competitors. So if you're eyeing to open a coffee shop, Your direct competitors are coffee shops. If you're eyeing to open a logistics company, your direct competitors are logistic companies. Okay. And you cannot compare yourself to maybe the same if to the same business if you're offering it differently, or if you're offering a or if there's a price difference. Like for example, you cannot offer you cannot compare yourself to, like, you're a coffee shop and you would like to offer only take home or to go coffees. You cannot compare yourself, or you cannot compare your business to a coffee shop that provides dine in, because for sure the product offerings, or the product price offerings is very much different from a to go or a take home product. Okay? So once you have identified your competitors, analyze 2 or 4 such businesses by answering the following questions. First, how are these businesses doing in terms of sales and demand for their product and service? Now, how do you answer that? You cannot go there and ask them this question, because that is something that I think will not uh, will not receive an answer. Those are, those are, how do I say that? Those are business confidential. Okay, and so the only way for you to do this is to observe and maybe to spend time in that business. It's like spying. Okay, that's normal in the business. Then another question is, what are the similarities and dissimilarities between your products, your service, and theirs? So you compare. Are you offering a dine-in to get same as the competitors that you're eyeing? Are you offering something very similar? And if not, if it's a dissimilar item, how are you in terms of the similarities? Okay. Also, another question, what are some of your competitors' strengths and weaknesses? Again, this can only be done by observing, by probably looking at the book, by probably, finding a way to get some market data. Another question is, what do customers think about your competitors' product and service? Is that business or something that offers value and it gives them the satisfaction? Or is it something that customers hate because they don't have a choice but just to buy from them because they're the only one? They have the monopoly of the market. Okay? Then another question can be, can you capitalize on some of your competitors' weaknesses? Usually, a strategy is looking at the competitors' weaknesses and making it as your strength. Okay? How can you create better value for your customers? You have to really, think, probably read, go to some online communities, and check how can you find value, or you may even position yourself as a customer, and so what you think will be the value that you're looking for in terms of that kind of business, and what pricing strategies are your competitors using. Again, you cannot ask this question. Okay, you have to figure out what kind of way. So sometimes you have to befriend like an employee to find out some answers, which I have no comment about. But if it's something that will give you an idea on how to jumpstart your business, then it's all up to you. And another question is, can you improve their can you improve on their strategies? This is something that you have to ask, because if you will enter the market and there's not something new that you can offer, there's no extra value that you can give, you're not better than, the businesses that exist. I don't think you can stay in the market. So if you are a copycat, make sure that you are a better copycat, or you will be the best among your competitors. Okay? So a tip for this would be to select a set of competitors and identify their strengths and weaknesses. Check how they promote their product, what is their pricing strategy, and look if there's anything unique or special about their products. And if you're ready to the fourth step is to describe your product or service. Okay, so a product may be a commodity or a service, or it can be both. So, what products, what services are you offering? How is what you offer different from your competitors' products or services? As I've said, you have to be different. And when I say different, you have to be, superior in terms of product and service offerings. So, how do customers perceive the benefits of the products and service you are providing? They have to see, they have to perceive the benefits or the value of your product. So, what do customers perceive about the special features of your products and service? Now, how will you know? Again, the outside in strategies, be a customer, mingle with them, ask them. Okay, you need not to say I'm the owner of this company. You can also pose as a customer, start a conversation, and then you can probably find an answer. Again, these things on how to gather data or to gather intelligence is also a kind of strategizing. Okay, so other questions to keep in mind when defining your product or service include the following. Can you appeal to environmentally conscious or health conscious customers? Because that's a new thing now when you set up your business. One thing that we have to make sure of is if we contribute to the sustainability of the environment. And so check if your product is something that can appeal, because this appeal can be used to catch the attention of customers. Okay, environmentally conscious or health conscious customers, how are you going to present your product or service to the customers? When I ask how, probably you can design, you can show a photo, or you can illustrate, or you can tell. I don't know how you would like it to be visible, how you will be making it tangible. So, is there an increase or decrease in the supply of your products or service in the market? So, if there's a decrease of supply, like for example, during the heat of the pandemic, when it's just about to start, not so many companies are producing masks, so there is a scarcity of masks. But I think nowadays there's more producers of the mask, so there's no more need. And so, how do you perceive now, or what needs do you perceive in connection to this pandemic can be an opportunity for you? Okay, so that's why, like in a beauty product that also acts as a sunscreen, what makes it, how do I say it? What makes it in demand is the SPF number that it can offer to the customer. Like, is it only 10, 25, 50, or 75? Okay. So how are you going to present your product and service to your customers? And are you answering for a decrease, or are you adding to an increase of supply in the market? So remember that without customers, your business is out of business. That's why it's important that you give your customers a reason to buy your product and to remain loyal. So loyal means long term, Loyal means repeat customers. And another tip in terms of coming up with your product or service, always aim to produce what you can sell rather than sell what you can produce. Okay, can you see the difference between that? Meaning that what you produce is something that is needed and not just producing it because you want to produce it. Okay? So let's look at number 5. Number 5 is define the place or identify your distribution strategy. When we talk about place, we are thinking about more than just a physical location of the business. A place can also include how you plan to get the product or the service into the hands of your customers, like where they need it. Do they need it at home? Do they need it in the office? Do they need it wherever they are? So, to do this, you need to answer the following questions. First, how widely do you plan to geographically distribute your product or your service? Will it be locally? Will it be regionally? Will it be internationally? Or are you going to be selling directly to your customers? Because there are also a lot of pricing strategy. Then, tip could be consider your product distribution plan and determine the best type of packaging. Remember, if you are, selling delicate items, it has to be neatly packed that will protect itself during the distribution or the delivery of the product. And also, another thing in terms of distribution, packaging serves to protect and preserve your product and to advertise and differentiate your product. Sometimes you buy an item not because you like it, but because you like the way it was offered in the market. Like you like the packaging, you like that's something that comes with a product, and that what pushes you to buy that product. Okay, so take advantage of that knowledge because you can apply that into your product. And also, number 6, if you're ready, you have to choose your promotion strategy. Promotion refers to the entire set of activities that inform people about your product or your service. So it is a way of communicating. So maybe you've read about the 4 C's also of marketing. You can also mix that or combine that with the 4 P's. So promotion induces customers to prefer your product or service over those of your competitors. So promotion is simply how you get people to know about the product or the service that you provide. Okay? So as I did mention previously, it deals with how and what you want to communicate to your customers and buyers. And in connection to this, there are several tools that can be used. This includes mass media like the radio, the television, the internet. I don't know now if some people still use newspapers, okay? But in my country, aside from technology, they also makes use of billboards as a way of communicating. They also make use of personal contacts or endorsements by popular or famous people, or using social media like Facebook, Twitter, or Pinterest. So you also need to identify the amount of resources, meaning to say how much money you're going to set aside for promotion and how many people you're going to use, okay, to do the promotion. But nowadays, usually, social media is one of the most cost-effective means of promoting your business. Okay? Then, are you still with me? Step 7 is to develop a pricing strategy. So, there are several pricing strategies such as cost-oriented pricing, flexible pricing, and relative pricing. A cost-oriented pricing strategy involves setting your price at a certain percentage level, say 25% above your production cost. A flexible pricing strategy is where you vary the price depending on the buyer or time of the year. And this usually is related to tourism. A good example of this is the cost of the airfare, depending on the season. Okay, remember that the distance is the same, the airline is the same, but what matters is the demand or the time of the year. That is what we call flexible pricing strategy. Now, relative pricing strategy is simply using the prevailing market price to set your own price, whether it is above, below, or at the same price. We call that the relative pricing strategy. Now, no matter what pricing strategy you use, you need to be aware of the following. What are your pricing strategies? What are the pricing strategies used by your competitors? What is your cost of production? So you can think about that. You can come up with you can look at that and you can come up with a strategy of how you would like to price your product. Typically, your price should be based on the prevailing market prices and your cost. It should also cover your full cost of the production and include the profit. You can do simple market research to learn what prices customers would be willing to pay and what prices your competitors are charging. So, I don't know what you would like to use. Okay, but you just have to defend why have you chosen that particular strategy. So to get the maximum price, try to schedule production when there is limited competing supply. So this is in terms of a manufacturing company. But if you are not manufacturing or producing something, then this may not be applicable for you. And last but not the least is to create a marketing budget. So, in creating a marketing budget, it is important to estimate how much will it cost for any marketing strategy you propose in your marketing plan. And it's also important that you have to stick to your budget. So, if you plan to participate in a trade show to promote your product, estimate the cost for traveling, for the marketing materials, and for the booth rental. In that way, you can probably recover or recoup the cost of the marketing activity. Okay, and I did mention also during our first meeting, first, no, not first, the second session, that I will not be giving a lot of attention to the budget or the financial planning in relation to your marketing plan, because I would like you to focus on the 4 P's of marketing. Okay? So, to wrap it up, okay, and to probably uh, put together the things that we have to look into, this is how a successful marketing plan looks like. There is, of course, if you're looking into a successful marketing plan, there has to be an executive summary wherein if the boss or if the executives or the board of directors, assuming you are doing it inside the company, they don't have enough time to go over the pages of your marketing plan, the executive summary says it all. So the marketing plan should have the executive summary. It should have the situational analysis. What situational analysis is actually within the organization. It's a work that it works into the capacity of the business to expand or to answer to whatever plan you have. So that's situational in terms of production, in terms of people, in terms of other resources. While the marketing research is something done outside, meaning that if you want to justify the plan that that you would like to execute or that you would like to go thoroughly, it has to be backed up by marketing research. Then the rest are the different, I would say, strategies that you can come up with in connection to your marketing plan, like promotional strategy, the marketing tools, the marketing strategy of the product, the distribution plan, the pricing and the positioning strategy, the conversion strategy if in case you will be expanding your business or if in case you will be merging, okay? Or if in case you will be consolidating your business into one place. And then retention strategy is how do you keep your presence in the market. And most importantly, of course, this strategy should be backed up with the right budget, with the financial projection that will be used or that will support the execution of the marketing plan. And what you see here is a partnership of not only the people within the marketing department, but a partnership between the different departments. So we cannot say that marketing should do all the job, because when you do something, you need people. When you do something in the business, you need funds. When you do something, you need to have the support of the production area and the other departments to make the marketing plan successful. So in closing, okay, what happened here? This is actually the components of a marketing plan. It may vary, okay, depending on what you would like to work on, but it should contain the following components, like what I've said: executive summary, the goals and objectives, what your business is about, who are your customers, who are your competitors, what are your products and service or products or service, what is your distribution strategy, your promotion strategy, your pricing strategy, and last, your marketing budget. So I hope this actually gives you a picture on how you can plan for your marketing plan. Okay, so to market your product or service effectively, you must identify your customers, know their needs and wants, and satisfy those needs and wants. Developing a simple marketing plan is not as time consuming and as expensive as you believe. While a marketing plan is not a sole factor in ensuring success for your business, it will greatly increase the likelihood that your business remains relevant and has the greatest chance of succeeding. So using the 8-step guide and the marketing plan worksheet, which I have given you last week, it provides you an easy way to get started. So I hope you learned something from this. And if you have more questions with regards to this market planning, then I can see you online during our class time. I will be happy to answer all your questions. So with that, I thank you and I say all the best to your market planning.